is able to carry on. Actually, Hill has just set the fastest lap. He's now set a lap of 1:36, 2 seconds quicker, and that's closed his gap 1 second on Gerhard Berger. So Hill closes 1 second on Berger for the lead.
You saw how greasy the conditions are still, but we've got news because in the pit lane is Tony Jardine, who saw what the problem was with Mika Häkkinen's pit stop.
Yeah, I'm just in the back of the McLaren pit, and the mechanics are just wheeling out the next set of tyres, so presumably Nigel Mansell is coming in. A great deal of frustration down here. The tyres went on extremely well, but that huge fuel nozzle just would not come out of its socket. I felt the weight of that earlier on. It is very, very heavy, very cumbersome, but it was sticking yet again for McLaren, and they're very disappointed.
And I can tell you that that fuel nozzle weighs 24 pounds. That's a heck of a weight to lift up, put on your shoulder. You've got to get the entry absolutely right before the free catches latch on to the retaining ring in the car. And equally, you've got to get absolutely right. Very clean pull to get it out. That's because the equipment has been redesigned since last year after that awful fire with Jos Evans baton in the pit lane at Hockenheim. Safer, but very much back to the race. Here's the battle. Minardi of Luca Bacoa, and he is now behind Gerhard Berger, and the fastest man on the track. Now we're with David Coulthard laps the Minardi, followed by Jean Alesi, who darts through, and on lap 19, Gerhard Berger still leads. Is this going to be a Ferrari victory at San Marino? There'll be a public holiday in Italy tomorrow if it is. Berger leads, Hill second, Coulthard third, Alesi fourth. You see those three together. Alesi has just made the fastest lap of the race. It's changing all the time. Eddie Irvine is fifth, but 55 seconds in the Jordan Peugeot behind the leader. Katayama is sixth, Frentzen is seventh, Salo is eighth, Barrichello ninth. Nigel Mansell is 10th, 11th and 12th are Mika Häkkinen and Olivier Panis.
Yes, this really is a great race, and on that last lap, Damon Hill took another half a second off Gerhard Berger, closing to within 10.5 seconds. And we shouldn't forget at this stage that after 18 laps, the Ferraris do look very competitive indeed, of course, with Berger leading and Alesi in fourth, but they are running lighter cars. They're running less fuel because they did not put fuel in when they changed those tyres, unlike the Williams cars, and that means that I would expect to see the Ferrari drivers come in earlier, to come in probably in the next 3 laps, because they will need to do that, assuming that they are going to make 2 stops in this race. And I find it highly unlikely that they would have considered at the outset just making 1. So I think we will see Berger and Alesi coming in the next 4 laps, and that will leave, of course, the Williams duo out in front with potentially Damon Hill leading.
Well, whatever happens, hats off to Ferrari, because they've been going through a very bad patch for the last 2 or 3 years. But they have patiently rebuilt their organisation, replaced personnel, and appointed John Barnard to look after the design of the new cars. They have produced several new engines, including especially this V12, new one which is going so well here. And they are almost on the pace. Gerhard Berger said yesterday, I don't expect us to be winning a lot of races this year. Hopefully we'll win a few, but in 1996 we should be challenging for the World Championship. Well, he wasn't necessarily expected to win this race, but he's certainly going well at the moment.
Well, something has happened, because Damon Hill has closed massively from 10.5 seconds to, we can see it on the screen, 6.8 seconds behind Gerhard Berger. So whether or not Berger has had an off, it looks like the kind of chunk of time, like 3 or 4 seconds, that could have come from Berger having a little bit of a half spin somewhere slow, or from being held up very badly by traffic.
Yes, I suspect that was traffic on that lap, but we've seen these 4 cars looking more comfortable for their drivers this now for the first 3 Grand Prix of the year. And there's never conditions more when you need the car underneath you than a damp track like this. And these 4 cars are just in a league of their own, and that I think that tells us a lot about this year's World Championship.
Oh, there you see Mika Häkkinen in the new high-wing McLaren MP4 of it in Big 10. And he's been caught by Damon Hill. You remember Häkkinen had that very long pit stop. He's in 11th place. He's now been lapped by race leader Gerhard Berger. He's been lapped by the 2nd place man Damon Hill. He's being lapped by David Coulthard as they come up to the Tamburello. And soon Jean Alesi will sweep past. In fact, he's doing so on the left as they go into the Tamburello, approaching it at 180 miles an hour. down from that speed to go through it at about 75 miles an hour. Still tremendously close run thing, but really this race is between four drivers, Berger, Hill, Coulthard and Alesi, because Eddie Irvine, who is fifth, and Frenson, who is now sixth in the Sauber, that's a good drive, are well over a minute behind race leader Gerhard Berger. Eric Cano is still seventh, Mansell is eighth, Katayama is ninth. Only those 9 are on the same lap.
That's Miko Sala's Tyrrell that's clearly in some sort of a trouble. He's coasting back. I would imagine to go into retirement there. His engine apparently, we've heard, has had a problem. But meanwhile up front, we've got this very, very close battle, and that's going to be very dispiriting for Mika Hakkinen there. He seems to have dropped out of the picture very quickly indeed. He was only half a lap ago being overtaken by Hill, by Coulthard.